Hello everyone, this is Python in under 15 minutes. I'm going to go through the basics of Python as quick as possible with as much detail as possible. So I'm using pycharm, which is a paid for application. You do get a free trial to test out pycharm. It's a fantastic application for coding in Python. However, it's not required, so you don't have to pay any money. You can use Python idle. If you have installed Python, you should have this already on your system. If you haven't installed Python or you're confused how to use Python idle, I'll leave two links in the description. One of them will be installing Python, and then the other video is an in-depth tutorial on Python idle and how to use it. Recommend you go and watch them, and we can get started. So on pycharm, I'm going to create a new file. Then it's going to be a new Python file. I'm going to call this tutorial, and then with the extension .py to actually let the system know that it's a Python file. The extension for Python is py. So in Python, to output something to the screen, we're going to use print. Inside print, we can put two single quotes. In between these single quotes, we can type any string we want to print out to the screen. So we want to print out hello world. Then that is what you do. However, you can use double quotes on the outside as well. Now you may get a very similar response. So if we do hello world with two quotes, well, two double quotes, if that makes sense, we can do this. I'll just change that to a capital H. If we run it again, we'll get exactly the same output. However, in context, in real life applications, then there is a big difference in the ones that you use. So to keep confusion to a minimum, so if we want to type something like this, Adam's car, then using double quotes on the outside makes sense here because we've got a single quote here. However, if we were going to say something like this, Adam quoted this, and we want to actually put quotes marks around what is said, as you can see here, it's getting a bit confused now. So on the outside, we'd have to use single quotes. Now, if we run this, as you can see down here, it says Adam quoted this. So for example, if you've got a famous person's quote that your application needs to output, then that is how you'll do it. So it is logical and does make sense. It's better to keep it down to a minimum, keep everything simple. So use the single quotes and the double quotes in a logical order. We can also print out numbers. Now, numbers don't require quotes, so if we do 100 and we run it, you can print out 100, get rid of a 0, we run it again, and we get 10, sorry. We can also do some addition here, so if we do 10 plus 10, now these, like I said, don't require any quotes. As you can see, it says 100, I keep saying 100, it says 20, 10 plus 10 is 20. So if we change this symbol here, we've got a plus sign, we can do a subtraction, so 10 minus 10 is 0. We can do an asterisk sign, which is 10 times 10, which is definitely 100, so it was right the first time. We can do a division, 10 divided by 10 is 1. Now it says 1.0 here because it's floating point, but you don't need to worry about that. So that is essentially print sorted out now. We can also skip onto variables. So to declare a variable, you need to just type the name of the variable. It doesn't matter what you name the variable, but we also need to assign a value to it. So we're going to assign a string of hello. Then we're going to have name variable and assign a name, so Adam. Then if we print, now when concatenating two strings together to output them, it doesn't require quotes. So if we do welcome plus and then name. So if you look at this, it's going to print out hello and then Adam. So if we run it, Control-Shift-10 is the shortcut on pycharm. I'll start using that now. So as you can see here, it says hello Adam, but there's no space in between it. And the plus sign is concatenation, so it's putting two strings together. So it's not adding. If you use integers, which I'll explain later, then you would need to specify that the number's an integer. So now we've got hello Adam. If we wanted to add a space, then we put two concatenation signs, and in between them we can add two single quotes and a space. So if we run this again, as you can see now, there's a space. That's essentially variables done. You can put numbers here, so I know it doesn't really make sense, but if we had welcome as 10 and name as 10, we got rid of this, and we printed them both out. If we run this now, as you can see, it says 20. So it doesn't sort of output 10 and 10. It's because it knows the numbers, it's going to add them, which is quite clever. So that's variables covered. The next thing we can go on to now is inputs. So if we have another variable and we'll assign the value hello to this welcome variable, then we print out a message saying please enter your name. Well, I'll put a colon and then a space. Then I'll put name equals input. Then if we enter a few times, leave a few spaces, do print welcome. Remember, a variable does not need any quotes. Then we put a plus sign for concatenation. We'll put a single quote, space it out, another concatenation sign, or just a simple plus sign, and then name. But instead of assigning a value to name, we're going to ask the user for that. So if we run this, it's going to ask for the name. So if we'll type a different name now. So Ryan, click enter, it's going to say hello Ryan. That is inputs. We can also do it for numbers. So print, let's see, print please enter the first number. Underneath this, we can do number 1 is equal to int for integer. Then you need to do brackets and then do input and then more brackets again. In pycharm, it will automatically do the starting bracket and the ending bracket in one go. So essentially, if I run this just to show you, it's going to say please enter the first number. So then once you enter a number here, it's going to store it in number 1. However, there is different ways of accepting inputs. So we've done the print up here first and then accepting the input, but you can also do number 2. So this is for the second number, int input. Then inside the input, we can do please enter the second number. So there is many ways of accepting inputs. As you can see, the big difference here is we've got the string outside of this bracket here. Then all you can do is print number 1 plus number 2. So this short little script here is going to add 2 numbers together. So enter the first number will have 10. Enter the second number will have 5. So 15 is the correct output because 10 add 5 is 15. We can also do some string formatting. So if we do name equals and then Adam, and we have age equals and we'll put 18. Remember, because age is a number, it's an integer, we don't need quotes. So print, and inside double quotes here we'll put my name is, then outside of the last double quote, so but still inside the last bracket, we're going to put plus age plus, and then we're going to do more double quotes, years old. Not sold, sorry, years old. My bad. So essentially we've got Adam again and he's 18 years old. So my name is, that doesn't really make sense, but my name is, and then we'll need to do name here. So let's add name. We'll add age. So sorry about that, I missed name out. We'll add a space here. Now this might look confusing for you, but don't worry about it. It won't be that bad yet. If we run this, as you can see here, we're getting an error. Now the reason for this is we've got an integer and a string. Now it's expecting string because we're using a print with double quotes. It's expecting a string, hence the error. Must be string, not integer. Now the way to fix this is we can do some formatting. You can either do this. So if you do str and then put brackets around the age and run it, it knows to actually output 18 now, and we're not getting an error. There's no space here, but to add a space, we just copy this and paste it here. Then if we run it again, we should have a space now. So that string sort of makes sense, but it's not a very good way of doing it. So I would sort of ignore this example, but it was just to give you that error, just in case you come across it in your time of programming Python. The correct way of formatting would be this. So my age is, And then if you put curly braces with a 0 inside of it, and then on the outside of the last double quote you put format, and inside this format we can put brackets and age. So if we run this, the last here, oh, I forgot age, that doesn't really make sense, but my age is 18. So as you can see from the last line here, my age is 18. So this acts as like a placeholder for the first value that you put inside the format bracket. You can have multiple inside this format. So you could have name and age. So if we change this up a little bit, my name is, and if we replace, in fact we don't need to replace anything, we'll put 2 curly brackets and we'll put 0. My name is Adam and my age is, and for this second one here we're going to change this to 1. So if we run this, it's going to print out my name is Adam and my age is 18, because it's following the order we put it inside the format bracket. So if you look here, my name is, and then we're putting curly braces with a 0 inside of it, which is name. Then we're putting, and my age is, with curly braces and a 1 inside of it, which is this one here. So it sort of follows it in turn. So that's string formatting as basic as I can get it. We're also going to look at for loops now. So if we do for I in range 0 to 20, and if we do print, let's have a look, I is now, we'll format it correctly, so let's just get this format done. There we go. No, I don't want I. Right, so this is a simple for loop. If we run this, it's going to print out from 0 to 19. It starts at 0 based, so 0 was technically 1 here. That's why it's only going up to 19. All computers, if you do computer science, arrays, for loops, excuse me, all start from 0 base. So that's the simple for loop. We can have a look at arrays now. So if we do ARR, and we'll set this to blank, then we need to actually add values to this array. So this is an empty array, and you may have heard of it. If you do computer science, there may be a question like, write an array that's initialized, or initialize an array. This is basically an array that's been initialized, but there's no values in it. So if we, I'll get rid of that now. So if we do ARR equals, and then normal brackets, and inside these we can add some values. Now it can be mixed, so there's integers and strings in this. Now to print out an item by index, in fact I'll change this hello to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we print out, let's print out the last value in this array. So if we do print AR and -1, so negative will always print out from the end of the array. So the last item in this array is 6. It's going to print out 6 because it's the last item in the array. 1 is first. You can have strings like I had before. So if I go back really quick, to print out hello, would do print ARR, and we'll print 1. So if we run this, it's going to print out hello. So that's for loops, arrays basically done. This is just the very basics of it, but it's to give you a quick overview of what to expect when Python programming. How long have we got left? About 2 minutes. We can have a look at some if statements. So let's declare a variable. Now this may not be 15 minutes long, but we'll just continue anyway. So we're going to import random. So import random. Now importing means that you're importing from like a library. So we're importing random. This will allow us to randomly generate numbers. So if we do number, if you remember, we're declaring a variable. Then we do random dot rand, if I can spell properly, dot rand int, and we'll generate the random number between 1 and 10, not 1 and 20. So essentially this is what it's doing. It's generating a random number between 1 and 10. Then we'll have tries. So we're going to create a little game with if statements here. So tries equals 1, and then I'm going to print out, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. So if we make the user guess, if you remember, guess equals int input, and inside this input we'll say have a guess. We'll space this out correctly so it sort of makes sense. Then to do it in if, simple if statement, if the guess is greater than the number that we randomly generated up here, then we'll print something out. So we'll say print guess, I forgot the double quotes, guess lower, and then if guess is less than number, print guess higher. Is that, yeah, guess high, sorry, can't follow the logic of my own game here. So essentially what this is going to do is it's going to guess a number, or we're going to guess a number, and it's going to match it to the number that we randomly generated. So as you can see here, it says I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. It says, oops, I didn't want to do that. Then it's going to say or it's going to actually generate a random number. Then we have a guess, so let's say 5. It's going to say guess lower. So the game ends at this point, but we can add more to it, but it's just to give you a little taste of if statements. So let's see if we can get one where it says guess higher. So if we say 2, oh, okay, the random number was 1. Let's put 1. There we go, guess higher. Now, if you want the full script for this game, go and watch my simple game tutorial. But this was just a quick, I'd say 15-minute, okay, maybe not, 17 minutes then, introduction to Python. It's a quick overview to give you the basics of it. So if it did help, please leave a like, comment, subscribe for the latest content. Check out my new website. I'll have all the code for this on my website, so go and check that out, and I will see you in the next video.